God, deep to right field. Way up there and way out of here.
To another episode of
Philadelphia Eagles are Super Bowl champions.
I am your host,
Eagles fans
Mike
everywhere.
Azzy, and I am
This
joined
is
by a
for
guy
you.
who has
The 0-2 pitch, swing and a miss, struck him out. The Philadelphia Phillies are 2008 World Champions of
by the time I joined
Baseball.
And usually I try and figure out what the song is before you get into any lyrics. A lot of the time it is boy band related. Um, I'll admit, I don't know what you're singing tonight. What do we got rolling between the ears tonight?
the man I need is the name of the song.
Okay.
It's by she's a newer singer. I actually forget her name, Olivia something. It's like a whole TikTok thing right now. Like everybody like plays everybody has the song, and they like put their own dating like resume up, and it's like my dating resume, but my sister wrote it, and it's this song playing in the background. It's super catchy. It's The Man I Need by Olivia Dean is her name.
Yeah. Not shockingly, this trend has passed me by.
Well,
So-
listen, the song is very catchy,
All right.
and I've been singing it all day long. But do you recall in college when I would sing the Growing Pains theme song
Of course I do.
and you got very angry at me?
Yeah, I don't know why, thinking back.
Like really mad.
I don't know why.
Me neither.
You had a knack for I don't know why it would annoy me unless you were doing it at annoying times.
Yeah. No, I just
You know
kept
what I
doing
mean?
it because it annoyed you.
Maybe, but again, I don't know why it would have initially annoyed me so much.
I don't know either. It's such a happy song.
It is. It's not generally. I don't think of it and get angry.
I mean, if you listen, I have recently gone into like an 80s, 90s TV theme song kick,
Okay.
and there are some legit ones, man.
Yeah.
I mean, Growing Pains is an all-timer. The Golden Girls, Full House, Family Matters, Step by Step is a banger.
Step by Step's a great one. Yeah.
If you've never listened to the Perfect Strangers theme song, you should.
Okay.
Banger. I
Good to
mean,
know.
there are some real good ones out
Yeah,
there.
I don't know why I would have gotten so angry unless like in the middle of like a Madden game against somebody, you just like kept singing it and I was losing. And so then I associated it with just being pissed off. That's all I can think of. That's all I can think of.
Stein's running around with 99 rated Mike Vick, and I'm just
And
in the
all- and run-
background.
and running
Show
the
me
same-
that
yeah.
smile again.
See, I think we figured it out.
They'll place another minute on your
Again,
crying.
Because now, no rage. I feel nothing. It's a great song.
It really is.
He also only ran the same play.
He did only run the same play. He did. And for context, we didn't just play Madden. We had full on drafts
Yeah.
and dynasties
Yep.
in Madden to the point where we were playing with guys who no longer, like, we didn't even have regular players left on our rosters. It was just guys we drafted with fake names.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that was how intense these were. It was me, you, Stein, and Schmidt, right? We were the only four who played.
Yeah. Did Ryan play? Ryan started playing?
When we got to the house, Ryan played.
Did Josh play initially?
Josh
No.
Josh played college football.
Josh played college football, yeah.
He created us as a team in college football.
Yeah.
But
Nothing made me more mad than to lose to a video game to Matt Stein. Oh my God. I hated it so much.
I think he probably won more than both of us.
He probably did, because of course he did. Because why? Because that's just who Matt Stein is.
Yeah, we straight up drafted teams. We just like took a franchise and we would redraft the entire league.
Yeah, after every season.
And we basically every time the new game came out, we did this. But we played it for like the entire like school year, for the entire
But like
semester.
didn't we just play 2005 the whole time? I feel like we tried new games and we didn't like them.
Maybe.
And so I think we just played 2005 over and over and over again.
I guess it wouldn't have mattered because we just kept redrafting.
That's what I mean. I think we just kept going with 2005 with Donovan McNabb on the cover.
I mean, look, it didn't matter because I drafted the same quarterback every time. And it was Matt Schaub.
That's right.
Always
That's
Matt
hilarious.
Schaub. I believed in Matt Schaub
You
so
did.
much. So Matt, if you're listening, I believed in you.
Hey, we'd love to talk to you.
Yeah, I don't know about what, but I would love to.
We could figure something out.
What did it feel like to be on Matt? Also, what do you think of Jalen Hurts? Because no one seems to like him, so I'd love your thoughts.
There you go.
Everybody thinks he stinks. Everybody's wrong, but they think he stinks.
Like we said, if you're listening out there, Matt.
Yeah, Matt.
Let us know.
Why not? I only drafted. You were the only quarterback I drafted in Madden 05.
That was some of the most fun we had, though. Was when we would have games against each other.
Yeah.
Or like just sitting around watching each other play the computer and then like passing the controller to the next guy.
When we played each other, we were very intentional about like all four of us being in the room to watch.
Yeah.
And you know, we played hours on end. Like if one of us had to play and the other three were waiting, we would not
finish the
let
week
it go.
without
we would not let it go. And we never drafted teams in the same division. So like it was fun when we played.
Yeah.
It was fun when we played. Oh man, the glory days of Madden. Man, what a nightmare. I got no schoolwork done.
I mean, I wasn't getting any done regardless, so it didn't make any difference. I was doing most of Stein's anyway, so.
It's truly a miracle that I got to where I got to in life and my career.
I still feel like I should have half of his degree. I should have like a minor in elementary education.
I mean, I think we all could take parts of Stein's degree.
That's true.
And somehow he's one of the most successful basketball coaches in the state of New Jersey.
Who would have thought?
Who would have thought?
Who would have thought?
Just unbelievable. Speaking of basketball, Regz, the basketball team's good.
They're certainly fun to watch.
I
don't know how long this will last, but I'm enjoying every second of it.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I want to talk about, right? Like we don't know what is going to come of this. We know certainly some of this is unsustainable. Some of the things that are happening is they're just not sustainable in the long term. And I don't mean like the performance and excitement and energy. I just mean like, what are they, plus 50 with Joel off the court right now?
The offensive efficiency.
It's insane. Yeah. It's insane. And what they're doing in the fourth quarter right now is insane. You know, they definitely have some reinforcements coming. It sounds like Paul George will be back at some point in November. Looks like McCain will be back at some point in November too. But I don't know it's sustainable, but I don't want to focus on that. What I want to focus on is what has gotten them to 4-0. And yeah, the easy answer is VJ Edgecombe and Tyrese Maxey and Quentin Grimes. Like that's the easy answer. Just to say their names. But I think it's more than that, Regz. I think it's more than that. I think it's a shift in what this team is. It no longer runs, and I will push back on, you know, I've always pushed back on Joel being a bad teammate, Joel having a negative attitude. That's always been a thing for me. And I see his joy. I see his joy when they came back without him on the court the other night and how excited he was. But I think the shift came in what you've leaned into for a long time in the culture of all of this. And that started with what appears to be Tyrese Maxey texting his teammates in the offseason and saying, hey, starting tomorrow, I'm going to be at the gym every day at 6 a.m. Join if you want to. And some guys kind of laughed it off, but one of those guys that decided to show up was VJ Edgecombe. And we're seeing sort of their dynamic play out in front of us. So I think the two of them, to me, the real difference right now is the culture that they're setting as what some people are, and not us, not even Philly fans, but some national people are saying could potentially end up being the best backcourt in the NBA. And that's saying something, Regz. But it's their culture and tone setting that's done all of this through the first 4 games, right?
Yeah, that's absolutely right. I think that's where it essentially starts and ends, is how hard those two guys play, how well they're playing offensively. And I think you can directly correlate how this team plays in the fourth quarter to who Tyrese Maxey is as a basketball player. and as a competitor. And he happened to find a like-minded competitor in VJ Edgecombe. And they're just two guys that will not let this team go quietly into the night. Like, look, they had bad quarters. The third quarter, for whatever reason, continues to be just the Achilles heel of this team. And hopefully that they figure that out eventually. But in the fourth quarter, they just will not die. And it starts with those two guys, and Maxey is at the top of the list of he just will not allow them to lay down. Even like you saw in the Wizards game, right? It's the best example so far. The second night of a back-to-back, Tyrese has played 40 plus minutes in all those games, and they're down, 11, 10 at one point, I think, when they started sort of their comeback. And the attitude of Maxey leads to the attitude of Edgecombe, leads to the attitude of like a Quentin Grimes, who won't be mistaken as like one of the best defenders in the league, but is certainly an above average defender. Guys like Bona, right? Coming in just with this huge energy and this willingness to do all the little things. Like, this is what we talked about when this team would play the Knicks, right? Josh Hart, every rebound, every loose ball would go to the Knicks. They just had more guys who were willing to put out that little bit of effort to do those things. And this team is completely bought into that. And I think it's with Maxey's leadership and Edgecombe being that kind of psychotic competitor that's who they're following. Two guys who are just completely on the same page with how they want this team to work and the effort they want this team to put out all the time.
Yeah, you mentioned Bona and 5 blocks in last night's game. Plays on the defensive side with a ton of energy, which is really fun to watch. It's not something that we often get to or got to see, because most of Joel's backups, we had B-Ball Paul, who played with a lot of energy, but Andre Drummond, just comes in and he gets his 10 rebounds without really trying. But speaking of Joel, before I move to Maxey, his last 2 games have been a little better offensively. 25 points in 23 minutes last night, 20 points in 20 minutes in the game against Charlotte. Didn't play the first end of the back-to-back against Washington. And now, against the Magic. And now tomorrow with the Celtics in the first NBA Cup game, he's not on the list right now for injury. So we'll see what happens there. For Maxey, in the first 4 games, 40 points, 28 points, 43 points, 39 points. He must have fallen asleep at the wheel in game 2. Something that I will say that I think is sustainable is Tyrese Maxey putting up these offensive numbers. He just gets better. He just gets better. He's a scorer, and he can score in so many ways. The shooting from his rookie season till now, the 3-point shooting, is out of control. I wasn't sure that this kid was ever going to be able to shoot from 3. I thought we were going to have the Markelle Fultz thing. And Maxey and Edgecombe have really learned how to shoot the basketball. Edgecombe already has come miles from his time at Baylor. So I love what I'm watching. I agree with you that a guy like Grimes isn't the best defender in the world, but they're getting those minutes from other guys, like you mentioned Bona. Obviously right now they're down. The gentleman whose name I couldn't remember, Barlow, he's out right now with some elbow stuff. So we're not really seeing him, but Oubre is giving them really good defensive minutes, and he's scoring. He's going to have his games where he doesn't score. We know that he can be pretty hot and cold, but he's always going to give you effort on the defensive side. They got the first game of the NBA Cup tomorrow. They play the Celtics. Celtics might own one after what happened in Boston, but this one's in Philly, so we'll see. Then they go to Brooklyn, to Chicago, to Cleveland. That is next week. That's going to be a bear of a bear of a week. You got to play the Cavs. We'll see what happens. The Bulls are also 4-0.
But I think even I'm just at the point where we know they're going to lose.
Yeah.
We get it. There's no change in expectation. I just think no one was going to be in for another season of just like watching Embiid plot around unathletically, slow everything down, force Tyrese to have to like work everything through him and off of him. And it's such a revelation because they're just fun to watch. No one is thinking that this team is going to like win 60 games.
I'm here for 82-0, so.
Well, we can dream, right?
Man can dream.
But I think that's the best part is that no one, at least from the things I've read or listened to, people aren't all of a sudden like, oh my God, we're going to make the playoffs and like make the Eastern Conference Finals. Like no one is thinking that right now because we still don't even know what this team is going to look like when George is back and when, McCain is back, right? And Joel is a little bit healthier because him on defense is just like, it's rough.
He's trying to figure out. He's trying to figure out his limitations. It's very clear he's trying to figure it out.
The lack of athleticism is like tough to watch. But like this team is going to continue to look different and evolve. But I just think people were so ready. Everyone was ready to give this team to Maxey, and I think obviously McCain played great. Everyone loved him. Him getting hurt is a huge bummer. But I think Edgecombe was a real big unknown, not in terms of sort of the floor of him. You're getting a super athletic guy, a crazy competitor. But a lot of people were just like, well, can he score? Can he make plays? Can he get baskets for himself if he has to? Is he going to do like the little things? Is he going to be confident coming out of college and be ready for all this? And so far, the answers to all those questions is like, yeah, man. This dude is ready to go. And it's just so much fun to watch him. And I hope that the team continues to lean into these two. And McCain, honestly, when he comes back, that this is what they lean into, and they're not going to be the greatest defensive team. I think we're learning that, but I just want them to continue with this identity. And just continue to be fun to watch, like while they figure the rest of it out.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be a fun couple of months here to watch what the rotation looks like with all these guys coming back, how they manage Joel. Maybe they just do what they've been doing and try and win games with the guards. And then in the postseason, unleash a different version of Joel. Maybe that's the plan this year. I don't know, but if they can find a way to make all of it work, I think they are real contenders in a very weak Eastern Conference. It is not a great conference. It's actually not a great league overall this year.
Yeah.
Oh, a lot of parity, a lot of fun ahead, and certainly a 4-0 start is more than we could have asked for. And I'm just gonna enjoy it, man. I'm gonna enjoy, watching them play every few nights. All we beg for is for them to get us to like, the couple of weeks from the NFL playoffs to spring training games starting. It's all we ask for.
I think expectations even got to the point where just to have a team that looks like they give a shit.
Yeah.
Like just throw guys out there who look like they care. They don't have to be the best.
Yeah.
And they don't have to like even be good.
Yeah.
Just give us a team of guys who look like they care a little bit.
Just a little.
Now you've got a bunch of them.
Yeah.
And your two best ones like really give a shit. And it's just exciting.
Yeah. Well, it is exciting. We'll keep an eye on them. When we come back next week, they will have played 4 games. My guess is 6-2 and 7 or 7-1 is probably about right. But look, who knows? Never take 8-0 off the table, baby.
I'll take 2-2 out of that stretch.
Yeah, for sure. All right, let's move to the baseball team. Not a whole lot to talk about here. We're gonna give it till the end of the World Series, and then we'll do our perfect off season. We'll jump right into like tendering guys and free agency and possible trades. We will do that right out of the gate because it's gonna be a busy off season for the Phillies. So we wanted to wrap up and put a bow on the Bryce Harper stuff. We talked last week about the Dave Dombrowski press conference. Now we thought he challenged Bryce. That went shit sideways over the weekend. Regz texted me on Saturday. I was at a friend's house, and he was like, "Did you see this article, this Gelb article about Bryce?" He talked to Bryce, and I was like, "No, please tell me everything's fine."
Yeah.
And it wasn't fine. It wasn't fine. Bryce talked about being hurt. Bryce talked about how, he's given his all to this city. And now he's hearing about trades. And look, I have my thoughts on this. But I would love to hear yours first, if that's okay. I have thoughts for sure.
Yeah.
But thoughts on Bryce, thoughts on the situation, thoughts on your takeaways of the article.
Yeah. So let me first say that if I am getting into one of your points, just interrupt me because I want to hear what you have to say about it. So if I start trampling on it, just interrupt. I'm going to start with number one. I think the biggest thing for me that I've taken away from the Gelb article and from everything going on, I think one of the biggest things for me was the fact that Bryce said that he has not heard from Dave and or John Middleton. Like, this situation is over with one phone call. One phone call from Dave Dombrowski to Bryce Harper that just says, "Look, Bryce, you know what we think about you. You know how I feel about you. Like, we've talked to you. You know that you didn't have your best year. We know your wrist was hurt, right? It happens. We have all the confidence in the world in you. And I'm telling you now that just didn't exactly come out how I hoped it would, and it's turned into something it shouldn't. I'm going to take care of that. But I'm just calling to tell you that there's nothing, right? You are not going anywhere. And we can't wait to have you healthy and back leading the team." That would take a minute and a half to do that. And I think even you and I texted about like the timing of everything, like maybe in between Dave going on foul territory, right? And being like, this couldn't be further from the truth. We are not trading Bryce Harper. We not, like, it's not even a thought in our head. Right? It got turned into something that I didn't want it to. I maybe could have said it a little bit better. Blah, blah, blah. And then from that to when Gelb talked to Bryce, maybe they've spoken since. We don't know. There's been no reporting to say that, but it just seems like one phone call and this could have been over with. So if that hasn't happened yet, I think I'm more disappointed in Dave Dombrowski than anybody. And I think my second part is, like, you're not 19 years old anymore, Bryce Harper. You're like 32. How old is Bryce Harper now? 32. You have 4 children. The woe is me card is a little bit of a stretch. Like, you've been the center of attention for a long time. And people are always going to talk about anything that you have to do with. It's just how it is. But like, this whole woe is me, like, oh, that he really hurt my feelings. Like, can we get over it? Like, can we move on? Can we be a big boy and just kind of get past it? And like, I don't need this whole like, oh, everyone should feel sorry for me. Like, newsflash, nobody does. We love you, but like, nobody feels bad for you and your $333 million. Like, so let's just get past that part and let's just squash this and be done with it. Like, okay, you got your feelings hurt. I'm really sorry, adult. Like, can we just get over this, please?
So, you didn't take either of my
Fantastic.
Either of my things here, and both. It's so funny to me. Well, it's not funny to me. It's annoying to me that I have to go this direction because I am typically the biggest Bryce defender on the planet. I go to bat for Bryce constantly with people, people who want to criticize him as, being the guy, right? And the guy's not getting the job done. And so that's an exhausting part of my own fandom. I take that on when I could easily just give a smile and a nod and let people say what they want to say and just let it breeze by. But I really struggle with that because I do think like baseball's the ultimate team sport, right? Like other guys have to do stuff. We're seeing it with the Dodgers right now. Like Ohtani's not doing anything because they're just not going to pitch to him because no one behind him hits.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with Bryce. And so I defend him up and down, left and right, but tonight I'm not going to for two reasons. The first is this whole, like, I'm hurt because they want to trade me thing, or the rumors. I got to deal with the rumors. Bryce, you're not a dumb guy.
Yeah.
Those rumors did not start because of the Phillies. No one associated with this was Joel Sherman on a random podcast saying that he wouldn't be surprised if you got moved, with no intel and no sources. Just him stating opinion that no one should be surprised if you get traded. No, at no point did he earmark you like Buster Olney did to become a Philly. He didn't earmark you and say, mark it down, the Phillies will trade Bryce Harper. What he did was hedge his own bets and say that people shouldn't be surprised. And if it doesn't happen, then no one even brings it up. But if it does, he gets to be the guy that says, look what I said in November.
Yeah. Right.
Right? Bryce, you're smart enough to know that. And what you're doing is really disappointing. It's really disappointing. Because the second part of this is the idea that you are beloved in Philadelphia. So you want to say, oh, I give my this and my that, and I came back from injury and I changed positions, and awesome. And we have loved you every moment for that. Like, you are one of very few people who does not get booed on a night in, night out basis for not being good enough. Like, the only time you got booed in the DS was when you had that big strikeout late in game 2. And you were not performing, yet you didn't get a chorus of boos every time you hit like Nick Castellanos did. Because you get a pass in Philadelphia because of coming back from injuries, because of Bedlam at the bank, which feels like it's 12 years ago now. Because of playing a different position to better help the team. But Bryce, you don't get criticism the way that other Philly athletes get. The way that Joel Embiid gets criticized by Philly fans, you don't come close to that. The way that Jalen Hurts, who has won a Super Bowl and outplayed the GOAT twice, gets criticized. The Super Bowl MVP gets more criticism on a day-to-day basis in Philadelphia than you. And it's, because Jalen isn't as charismatic as you, doesn't wear the outlandish colors and pander in a loving way. We know that you love the city, but some of that buys you a little bit of extra love. And I was disappointed to see the way that Bryce handled all of this. I still love Bryce. He will still get the loudest ovation on opening day because he will be a Philly. I will be part of that loudest ovation because I love him. But that doesn't mean I can't be disappointed in the stuff that came out in that article. Mm-hmm. And I don't disagree with you that Mids or DD need to reach out and have a conversation. But I also think Bryce, I didn't see a lot. I skimmed it. So if I'm wrong, please tell me. I don't know that I saw him really say, yeah, I wasn't at my best. I think he said he played hurt.
Yeah.
And if I'm wrong, again, I apologize. But the part to me that I need to wrap on this with is simply that Bryce gets a little bit more of a hall pass than many other star athletes in our city. So for him to run this idea up the flagpole that, he's done everything for us and this hurts. Look, man, I got to tell you, you endear yourself to us in a lot of ways, but that's not going to get it done. Like, that's going to get more people to turn their back on you. It's going to be tough. Now, I will say, this sounds like a pissed off Bryce Harper. And if we're getting pissed off Bryce Harper, good. The last time we saw pissed off Bryce Harper was when that moron shortstop for the Braves decided to open his mouth and Bryce went off for like a full week. So maybe we get that Bryce out of all this, and maybe that's what Dave wants. But I'm still a little bothered.
I completely agree with you, and I think it also it's very hard to play that card when for a lot of this season, and we don't know the reason. Maybe it was the injury stuff, and maybe it was personal. Maybe who the hell knows, right? Like Bryce for long stretches of time, I don't disinterested might be a strong word or not the right word, but he just didn't look fully locked in. Like I, this season more than most, I remember at bats where he just goes up there and he's just hacking at every pitch, no matter where it is. And it's like, okay, well, I guess Bryce just isn't trying on this one or just wants to go sit back down. And that seemed to happen a lot more this year than any other year I can remember. And again, I don't want to speculate to the reason why. There could be a million reasons, right? But it's very difficult to watch that and see that as a fan and then to turn around and then just be like, everyone should feel bad for me. That's a tough, I think you made the wrong turn there. You know what I mean? You made the wrong turn. It's not like you went out in the playoffs, even with the injury, hitting 290 and you hit 4 home runs in the playoffs and all this stuff, right? You had a bad playoffs. And yes, you've talked about there are factors to that, right? There's nobody hitting behind him. God, he saw the least amount of strikes of almost anyone in baseball. But he also, and I know you went over the numbers that this doesn't bear out, but just eye test wise, it seemed like he swung at a lot more of them than he usually does. I know the statistics might not bear that out in terms, compared to other years, but there just seemed to be something that caused him to not be all in with this, which is very weird considering who we know Bryce Harper to be. So it's tough to go from that to everyone should feel bad about me because a media person from not Philadelphia said a random opinion on a podcast, which then sports radio has to run with for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And which they will, because that's their job.
For sure.
It's their job to take it and run with it.
Yeah, I think, with Bryce, with Bryce moving from this point, I think it's going to happen quietly. I think they'll be able to settle things out. I do believe some of his disinterest, because I saw the same thing, was injury, but I also believe that some of his volley to Dave's serve was put someone behind me. No more of this. Put someone behind me. I do a lot, but I need. It can't be 10 home run Alec Bohm. It can't be streaky JT Real Muto. It's got to be a guy. Put someone behind me, and then we can have the conversation of I'm not elite anymore. I think it's very telling when Kyle Schwarber hits 58 home runs with Bryce Harper hitting behind him. Kyle Schwarber saw 48% of pitches in the zone. Bryce Harper saw 41% of pitches in the zone. And this wasn't new. The last 3 years, it's been no higher than 42.5%. It still ranks toward the bottom of baseball for 3 straight seasons. And in those seasons, the 3 guys hitting behind him are Nick Castellanos, JT Realmuto, and Alec Bohm. No one's scared of those guys. So I think there was a little bit of a volley, and now it's Dave's turn to return it, right? And whether that's a conversation paired with a bat behind him, or whether it's Bryce, get in line, man. You want the extension? Go out and earn the extension.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens, but it's going to be one of the more interesting storylines to watch as we head into 2026.
Yeah, it just is stupid. I just don't want it. I'm done. I don't need it. There's other things this team has to worry about. Let's put our big boy pants back on and talk like adults, and then we can just move past this.
I like the idea of putting big boy pants back on because it's important to wear your big boy pants and and not have drama. We already have drama with the baseball team, and we've got drama with the football team. We just got drama everywhere. And, it sucks that we have drama with teams who are good.
Yeah.
But here we are. So Talking about the football team, I do quickly want to mention this. We're not going to spend a ton of time here because they're not trading AJ Brown. So let's, get that out of the way. But really good article in The Athletic yesterday giving us a look into AJ Brown. And we're not going to spend a ton of time here. I just want to give my outlook on the AJ thing real quickly. I think AJ, I said this to you last night. This is not an Eagles problem. It's not a Jalen problem. And I don't even really blame AJ for what he's experiencing. AJ has some childhood trauma stuff. He talks a lot about trust issues, and how the only things that really bring him joy in life are catching the football and his son. And, outside of that, there's not a lot of dopamine hits that he gets. And when he doesn't really have an impact on the game or a positive impact on his team, he takes that hard. He feels like he's letting people down, and that really pervades his like connection and sense of trust with other people. And it's what's really interesting to me is that this all feels like it came about last year. In 2023, the show was the Jalen AJ show. In 24, Saquon came in, and it almost felt like it was the Jalen and Saquon show. And that's when the AJ stuff started. I don't blame AJ for having the feelings that he has. I do wish he would go about it differently so we don't have to listen to it every week. I mean, what's her name? Diana Rossini? Is that who it is?
Yeah.
I mean, this woman just has a tweet set to go every Saturday morning.
Yeah, that says nothing.
It's nothing. It's nothing.
Yeah.
And when the deadline comes and goes, Philly fans are just going to destroy her. She's going to be in everybody's but I think, at the end of the day, what I'm realizing about AJ is that his need to please people for that sense of belonging and connection just overtakes everything else. And when he doesn't get that, his way of going about it is to like passive aggressively attack everyone. And so I just want him to be okay. I just want him to be at least okay through this Super Bowl run, and then the Eagles can revisit it in the offseason. I would love for him to stay around forever and become the greatest Eagles receiver of all time, but I think that crown is going to end up on Devontae's head at this point. So I don't know if you have any other thoughts, but that was just sort of my AJ. We were talking about drama with the Phillies. I figured I'd at least bring it up.
Yeah, I mean, I texted you this when we were talking about this the other day after you read the article. I took it as AJ wants to be great. He wants to be remembered as great. He wants a legacy as a football player. And the only way in his mind that is possible is if he has the ball in his hand. And when that doesn't happen, it gets into kind of the things you talked about. It gets into the trust issues and the maybe, I'm like sort of my legacy is not going to be what I want it to be. And I think all of that is constantly battling with, being a disciplined guy, being a guy of faith, which the article talks about, right? Being a guy who wants to win, which the article talks about. And then it sort of comes out, like you said, in this passive aggressive, very weird way. And to me, that feels like all the little characters on his shoulders are like flying around in like a Tasmanian devil tornado, and bumping into each other. And he's just not sure how to handle it. And that's what it leads to. And the only thing that strikes me is, and again, we've talked about this a million times, and I know the reason I keep bringing it up is because this was the kind of player I was, and again, that's probably because I wasn't ever the best player. You know what I mean? Like I was never the best at this stuff, so I can't relate to an AJ Brown or a LeBron James, a guy who does petty things here and there, or guys like that who are truly great at what they do. But it just always gets to me like, look at the team you're on. Look at the run that you could have with this team. If you just look, I know, yeah, you can be frustrated if the offense isn't rolling how you'd want it to roll. Of course you can. Nobody would blame AJ Brown or Devontae Smith or Saquon or Dallas Goedert or even Jalen, right? if the offense isn't working how they want it to work and how they see its potential to be. You know, if it's not living up to the potential that the people who are involved with it directly feel like it can live up to. There's not a fan or a human like on the planet that would begrudge them for saying something about that. It's when you get into the whole like, well, it's not working because you're not giving me the ball enough. It's not working because I don't have my hands on the ball enough. It's not working because I'm not used well enough, or I'm not used this and that. And like, look, 50% of that is true, maybe even more. When AJ Brown gets the ball, usually very good things happen. When Devontae Smith gets the ball, good things tend to happen. So it's not a baseless sort of feeling. But I've just never understood, like, if my team is winning, and yes, I can be frustrated internally. I can talk to coaches and my teammates and whoever I can talk to internally, right, to figure out how we can get things better. That's what sports is, right? You figure out collectively how to make something great using all your talents. It's like you said, I've just never understood the passive aggressive stuff, like the tweets and the Instagram posts and like all this. Like, again, I've never been a great player at anything, so I don't have I can't speak to that. But like Tim Duncan wasn't tweeting passive aggressively. Like if the Spurs offense wasn't running how they wanted it to run, after Chris Bosh tips that rebound out, Tim Duncan's not like tweeting a picture of himself rebounding a basketball, being like, well, you know what I would have done. Like it's just not something that like Bill Russell wouldn't have been putting Instagram posts like out there that said, some weird caption about not scoring the basketball enough or, whatever else. Like at some point, I feel like you got to look at your situation and you have a way to figure this stuff out internally without this ever getting out there. And like all the article talked about was how he wants to be this disciplined guy, right? It's not about, I forget the other word he used, but he's like, it's not about this. It's not about motivation. It's about discipline. It's about being disciplined in what you do and how you approach things. Like, how about you use some discipline, put the damn phone down or turn Instagram off? Like, how about we do some of that? Like, it doesn't have to apply to only 3 things in your life. You can do it for everything if you want to. So, like, let's just do that and have all the conversations you want during the week about how to get the offense better. Be frustrated. You can be frustrated in that sense. Like, everyone in that room knows you're just trying to get the team to be better. It's when you do this petty crap in public that it becomes a thing. And I think, like you talked about, what's the one thing Devontae Smith never does? That crap. I'm sure Devontae's just as mad as everyone else about wanting the offense to be good and wanting this team to win and wanting them to be better. What's the one thing he doesn't do?
He's
Little
not
petty
public,
garbage.
yeah.
Right.
Well, it's funny because, Devontae says that he is the one who on the sideline is the first one to say he wants the ball. Like he does it before AJ does it. And that cracks me up. I do believe that like AJ, it's so interesting what the dynamic is because AJ doesn't say anything on the sidelines. He's to himself. He's very to himself. Whereas Devontae is like knocking down doors to get the ball. And that comes straight from Devontae's mouth. So it just interests me.
I went on too long of a rant about it, but
I don't know that you did. I think that that's a very real feeling. It's like my man, we're winning, and
that's
and
what I mean. I'll never understand this stuff when you have a team like you have, and you have a chance to do what you have a chance to do with this group of guys and this talent, this group, of talented guys that you have. I'll just never understand doing stuff like that to take away from what the group is trying to do.
I also think about Saquon's response to his struggles this year.
I mean, he's been fantastic.
And what he said was just so spot on. He's like, am I satisfied? No. But am I happy? Yeah, we're winning. And so he's not satisfied with his own performance. but he's happy that they're winning football games, which is the main goal. And, Jalen says it all the time, keep the main thing the main thing. Jalen will throw for 100 yards and not care because they won. And after the Super Bowl last year, when AJ talked about, like, I just want to get back to the grind and do this again. That's who you think he is. And I think that's what he is. But when he's not able to overcome those little characters on his shoulder, like you referred to, then we see these little passive aggressive nuggets. And it's like, dude, where's the guy who just wanted to climb the mountain again?
Right.
Like, you're sending two different messages, AJ.
Yeah.
But all that being said, we're going to take a look at the position groups and give them a grade at the midseason point. We'll talk through some trade possibilities as we go, and let it be what it is with the bye week. We'll get into the Packers game, which will be a huge game.
Yeah.
When we meet next week, because that game is vital. Because of where both teams stand in the standings. They are separated by...
It's in Lambeau, right?
Yeah, separated by a half a game right now. Yeah.
Tough game.
Yeah, that's where Jalen made his first, like, real appearance in Lambeau. Comeback win, too, by the way. All right, let's do this. We're going to mix it up a little bit. I'm not going to go in typical order, but we broke it down in the position group. So we've got the quarterback positions, skill positions grouped all together instead of, like, wide receiver room. And we could talk about why the grade is what it is. Offensive line, defensive line, linebackers, and secondary. So let's start with, we're already there. We talked a little bit about all three of these guys. Well, we missed, but let's talk about the skill positions and give them a grade. So that includes wide receivers, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, even Jahan Dotson, if we want to have that conversation. Saquon Barkley is included in that newly anointed running back to Tank Bigsby. Will Shipley, Dallas Goedert, Grant Calcaterra, the whole nine there. I kind of went back and forth here. Tight end position has been pretty good. Goddard, when healthy, has been a major weapon in the red zone. I love using him in the red zone.
Yep.
It's really been nice. The passing game has come around a little bit over the last few weeks. Love what I saw out of Devontae Smith the last 2 weeks. I love what I saw out of Jahan Dotson over the last couple of weeks too. Certainly the AJ saga carries on. Once they've gotten under center, we've seen a more effective Saquon. So I actually had this at a straight C for right now. I have them very middle of the road, a lot of room to grow, but starting to see better things and not a failing grade.
Yeah. I had a B-.
Okay.
Again, I'm not arguing with you. I think that's about right. I think you need to leave some room for them to hit their potential, which they have not done. And I think of all the things, like, I know we don't talk about it much, but, like, I think Goddard's been fantastic. Like, he's been so good. And the way, like you said, they're using him in the red zone. This team, sometimes we get stagnant in the red zone and really thought they were just trying to get to 3rd and 1 from the goal line, to get to the tush push. And this year, to their credit, they've been creative in the red zone. They've been using Goddard a ton, which I think is great, because everyone's really focused on all those other guys, and he just seems to keep getting open and for an advantageous matchups. So I just wanted to shout him out. I think Dallas Goedert has been really, really good.
Yeah, I actually don't know if they're still perfect in the red zone at this point.
I don't think so.
Okay. I couldn't remember.
I don't think so.
If they're not, they've only had one failed attempt at this point.
Yeah.
It's been really impressive what they've done, what they've been able to do in the red zone. And Jalen only has 2 tush push touchdowns.
Yeah.
Out of his 20 touchdowns. So you can take your tush push merch and stuff and shove it where the sun don't shine. All right. Let's talk about Jalen. I do believe that he is just once again so improved over what we've seen in previous years. I believe 2022 was his best year, but I think that was because it was the most high-powered offense that they ran the year they went to Super Bowl and lost.
Mm-hmm.
It was his second year with Shane Steichen, which definitely helped him. But I think from a general first year with Patullo, he talked about openly how comfortable he is under center. We're seeing how comfortable he is under center. I watch him against the blitz this year versus years past. He's not always going to his first read in these situations anymore. I'm watching a different quarterback, and it's bringing me a lot of joy to watch this version of Jalen Hurts. It's smart. It's decisive. Yes, he's had a couple of bad moments, a bad game. But overall, I have Jalen as an A- right now.
Yeah, I was in between B and B plus, but I think I'm going to go B plus. I think there's still. I agree. I think Jalen's been overall very good this season. I am going to hold on to the fact that I think he continued to even push his own ceiling, right, of what we've seen in Super Bowls and NFC championships. So I'm hopeful that he continues to do that. And I really do think that he has the ability to get even a little bit better this year. And, I'm not going to persuade anyone that I'm some QB expert, so I don't have to go into like, oh, he should be hitting his second read faster or blah, blah, blah. But, he's not a perfect quarterback, so I think we'll leave room to improve. And we'll hope that he keeps playing really well. Like, I just think he's been playing really well, and let's hope he continues.
Yeah, perfectly said. All right, offensive line. Now, this is interesting because this is not usually one that we have to get very aggressive on. Usually, we'd both just say A+ and move right along.
Yeah.
It has not been that this year.
No.
It simply is not. Lane's been good. I don't think he's been great.
Mm-hmm.
Mailata has been okay. He hasn't been his normal self. Landon Dickerson has been banged up as we know. He did look better this past week. It was nice to watch, Landon take out like two guys a couple of times. Cam Jurgens still banged up, and that's been obvious. I would like to give Brett Toth some flowers. He was fantastic in the Giants game this week. They're using Fred Johnson more. They're using like 6 linemen, using Fred Johnson as a tight end to block,
which has been great.
Again, I do have to tip my cap. Kevin Patullo is changing things up, getting creative, doing some stuff differently here the last couple of weeks. And, I think Tyler Steen is about the only one who has played up to what we believe he is.
Yeah, we really haven't talked about him for a few weeks, which is, I think, exactly where you're looking for Tyler Steen to be.
Yeah, I mean, because look, I don't think I'm not sitting here saying he's been good.
Right.
At least good, like Mekhi Becton good, but he's been Tyler Steen good, and that's been more than competent.
And he hasn't been bad, I think, is the biggest thing. He hasn't been bad.
Right. He's been more than competent, and that is totally acceptable. But at the end of the day, I really debated making this a failing grade, but I'm giving him a C- because the last 2 weeks have been much better.
Yeah, I'm giving him a C. I'm giving him right in the middle. There have been some good days. There's been some bad days. And I think the inconsistency is what leads me to this grade, is because it's just not something we're used to from this group, and especially a Jeff Stoutland group of these guys. Like, look, injuries have played a factor, obviously, specifically with the interior guys. So you have to take that into account. But they just have not been as sharp as anybody would have expected them to be. So, giving them right in the middle.
All right. Our defense or our offense averages around a B. It's a B- average, and they're 5-2. And I think they're trending up.
Yeah, I would agree.
6-2. Sorry, I think they're trending up. And so to be 6-2 and trending up is a good thing, offensively. On the defense side of the ball, I'm going to start at the linebacker position. Zach Bond has still been very good this year. Very, very good this year. I think John Campbell has been awesome as far as a rookie goes. I don't have much to complain about. I really don't watch him back and think, man, that wasn't good or that was glaringly bad. And the return of Nakobe Dean has been magnificent.
Yeah.
It has been absolutely magnificent. He has been phenomenal. Heading downhill. A little slow in coverage last week. That might have been one where they might want to get Jihad on the field. He's a better coverage linebacker. But overall, the three linebackers have been really, really good. They earned an A from me.
Yeah, I was going to go B+.
You're a tougher grader than me.
Sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, today you are. But that's not super far separated. I could have easily gone that direction, and I think that they've raised their floor quite a bit. I saved these last two for last because I do think that this is where the work needs to be done. I'm going to go with secondary because we're going to end on the edge rusher or defensive line, I guess. I'm going to go to secondary here. And I had a difficult time because there are two guys in the secondary that I feel like are playing at an A level.
It's very tough to figure out how to level this. I completely agree with you.
And so we know Coop and Q are playing at an A level. Reed's still playing at a solid B, like maybe A level himself. And then you got the rest of the show.
Yeah.
You know, Andrew Makuba has A plays and then he has F plays.
Yeah.
Which is fair for a rookie. I mean, we haven't seen that from Campbell, but we're seeing it from Makuba.
I meant to ask you this. Is it just going to bite us in the butt that the Eagles just refuse to take Notre Dame safeties?
I mean, Xavier Watts is awesome.
That's what I mean.
I said that during draft season.
No, I wasn't saying that you disagreed with this take. I was just bringing it up that it's been funny that, like, the Notre Dame safeties that we continue to pass on just keep being really, really good.
I mean, he's just sitting there on the board, and I'm like, oh my God, they're finally going to do it. And then, you know, and that being said, I still think Andrew Makuba is going to be a really good player. But right now, it is Jekyll and Hyde.
Yeah.
Like almost every possession is a Jekyll and Hyde possession. And then you got the rest of the show out there. With Adoree Jackson and Keely Ringo, and now Jacorian Bennett's on his way back. And they just made a trade. They got rid of John Mechie, and a 6th round pick to the Jets, and they brought back Michael Carter III, right? The second, sorry, and a 7th round pick. And so 27th round, by the way, we're not talking this coming year. And so, you know, some people have asked me, is this the secondary move? I think it's a depth move. I don't know that it's the move. I think there's still, you know, potential for another move, especially because it was such a low cost and they didn't use any of their picks for this year. I still think there's a chance they can bring a guy back before the end of Tuesday. But if this is what they are leaning on, I think it gives them some flexibility moving forward. If they want to try Coop, not all game, but in certain scenarios, let Coop play on the outside. This guy was really good in 2023, 2024. Sometimes you play for a team this bad and you kind of throw in the towel. I hate saying that, but like, it's hard to be a competitor and play for a team that never wins.
And I think I saw something that he waived his like $5 million trade incentive. Like that's like he heard he was getting traded to the Eagles and he's like, yeah, I'll waive it.
It was basically,
if you can get me there, I'll waive it.
Regz, it was like his health insurance.
Yeah.
He basically said, screw my health insurance. I don't want to be here. And so, you know, I agree with you. You've had this take for a while, and I want to credit you with it, that Cooper, you know, I think could be exposed a little bit if he plays on the outside too often. And so I think, you know, Carter gives them a little insurance. We saw that, you know, he can go out there with Justin Jefferson in the red zone where he's got protection in the boundary and man dudes up down there.
I think there are certainly like situations and areas like you just talked about where Cooper can be effective on the outside. If we're just talking about an outside corner all the time, I love Coop, right? He's perfectly suited for that slot. Like you don't know where he's coming from guy.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't think he's got the athleticism and the stay with it on the outside for the receivers you're dealing with in the NFL, even if they're number twos, right?
Yeah.
I know there's not a ton of situations where it's like the Jordan Addisons, the T Higgins, right? There's other good, the
The
Pickens even.
Devontae Smiths.
Sure, of course. There's not a lot of those, but it scares the crap out of me if he had to follow those guys around all the time.
Yeah.
He's just not. His skill set is suited for other things, and he's when he's used that way, like you said earlier, he's been playing phenomenally in this defense in those situations. But I think you're absolutely right. There are times and places and downs and situations that he can play the outside and play it effectively because, like you said, he's got the help of the boundary or the end zone or all those things that you talked about.
Yeah. So all that being said, grading the secondary is very difficult.
Very difficult.
I'm gonna go with a solid B here, and that sounds high, but hear me out. I think the high level play of Blankenship, Q, and Coop far exceed the negatives of the other guys. Otherwise, the Eagles would be getting absolutely torched every week, and they're not.
Yeah, I even bumped this up. I was going to go C, but I think I'm going to go C plus. I think, like you said, the good outweighs the bad, but the bad has been bad, man. Like it's been bad sometimes, and even it's tough for like three guys to hold you up, even without the linebackers are playing pretty well. But like, it's tough when you have like plays that some guys are just literal zeros.
Yeah.
It's tough for these other guys to make it up.
It's funny because their ceiling's probably an A, but their floor, we saw it against the Giants when Q was out.
It's like a D.
It's bad. Yeah.
It's
bad. All right. Defensive line. So I saw a fun comparison today. And I do think that it's that it is privy. We're not going to do all these tonight for time purposes, but it is privy to talk about that. One of my hot takes for the season was that Moro Ojomo would outplay Milton Williams, and I gotta tell you, it's not that.
Milton had a hot start.
It's not that far off, Regz.
Yeah. Milton had a hot start, but he's come down to earth a little. I think he got hurt a little bit, right? Did he get hurt for like a week?
I thought I saved this. Yeah, I guess I didn't. But it's very, very close. I thought I saved it, and I didn't. I'll have to try and pull it up next time.
I mean, that also has to account for Morrow playing without Jalen Carter for a week or two, right? Jalen been out for 2 games?
2 games. One he got kicked out of, and the
one
other
he got kicked out. Yeah,
he had the heel. Jordan Davis has been really, really good.
Really good.
Jalen Carter hasn't been all that great this year. It's definitely been a tougher year for him. Nolan Smith's been hurt. We had a dude sign with us and retire in the span of 2 weeks, so that was fun.
Yep.
I think Josh Uche has been really good for this team. Really, really good. Jalix Hunt has like 30 pressures this year. He's really getting to the quarterback, which is good to see. However, overall, it hasn't been a good unit.
Yeah.
It hasn't been a good unit. And so I have this as a C- right now. They don't have a ton of sacks. The pressure rate is down.
The run stopping isn't good.
Yeah, they're not really playing the run well. Brandon Graham coming back will definitely help that. I would assume a majority of his snaps will be in running downs.
Mm-hmm.
But we've talked about how this can't be, the only thing they do. Before we talk about, potential trades, what would you grade them? I said C-.
C- was exactly where I was.
All right. So this is a place they can improve before the deadline on Tuesday. I do believe they're done at corner. I don't know that they're going to throw any more assets there. Could they? Absolutely. But I think that they're more likely to throw some assets at like an edge like Jalen Phillips, someone like that. I saw the rumors today, Regz.
I didn't, so this is
I
I
saw
just saw it before we started recording.
the rumors were flying. Howie Roseman is hot. Howie Roseman is hot on arguably the best player in the NFL, Myles Garrett. That is not an exaggeration in saying that. This dude is a game-changing edge rusher. And I never worry about money. You know, someone said, oh, they're going to have to figure out his dollars. It's Howie Roseman. Like, ain't none of us worried about the money problem here. They'll find a way to make it work between the two of those GMs. Here's my concern. What the hell are we giving up to get Myles Garrett?
That was going to be my question.
Like, what do you think is fair compensation? Like knowing that this dude is already, like, they're already measuring him for his jacket.
And how many years did he sign for?
I think it's 4.
Okay, that's what I thought too.
Let me look it up.
He's 30 what?
I think he's 30. I actually think he's 30.
No, he's older than that.
Is he? Sports Illustrated is reporting that the Eagles have a massive package for Browns to consider. He's 29. He turns 30 in December.
Okay, that's insane. Looks like he's 37 years old sometimes. All right. Anyway.
It is a 4-year, $160 million.
Okay. So let's get back to the crux of your question.
What
do they have to give up? So I think we have to start at minimum of 2 first-round picks.
Yeah, okay. I was going to say 3, but okay.
I mean, I think 3 gets it done, but I'm just saying at a minimum, the number has to start with 2. And then I think from there, you either throw in another first or you have to think of the players that you're willing to part with.
Okay.
So I think if we're starting at 2, let's just start at 2, right? Let's just say 2. I think Nolan Smith is gone.
Yeah, but I don't think that, I don't know that, I understand what I'm about to say is going to sound wild, but like you're robbing Peter to pay Paul at this point. You have a 24-year-old edge rusher that you're trading for a 30-year-old edge rusher plus 2 first-round picks.
I think the reason that has to happen is because the Browns are going to want a D lineman. You're not giving up Carter. And like, yes, I like Jordan Davis, fine, but I don't think that's who they would want.
I'd prefer the third first-round pick.
And that's fair. I think that's fair because I'm not willing to give Q or Coop. Like, those are no's.
No.
You're just not getting them. And I'm not giving up Jihad.
Or another combination of picks. Like, we'll give you 2 of our third-round picks in addition to the 2 first-round picks. We have 3 of them this year. So, like if you can get away with a first-round pick this year, a first-round pick next year, 2 third rounds,
do you think there has to be a player in there from us?
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know their roster construction.
Or it just could be all picks.
But like, so here's like the funny thing about this whole ordeal, because I thought 3 first-round picks. So kudos to us for being on the same page. And a lot of people are pushing back by saying like, well, the Eagles are going to be picking late in the next, 3 drafts. Fine. Yeah, you're right. So let's do this for S's and G's. Their last 3 first-round picks: Nolan Smith, pick number 32. Quinyon Mitchell, pick number 21. Jihad Campbell, pick number 32. Would you trade those 3 guys for Myles Garrett? The Eagles drafted such a high level.
Yeah.
That, giving up 3 first-round picks is essentially giving up a Nolan Smith, Quinyon Mitchell, and Jihad Campbell.
Yeah, that's why I think if it's possible, I'd like to do the 2 and like a player. But
what if the player was Jalix Hunt?
Yes.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
I mean, that's a no-brainer. I think that's why I immediately went to Nolan, because I don't think the Browns even care about that.
They're the Browns, Regz.
I know, but still.
You might be able to convince them to take me off the practice squad.
I mean, maybe. If I can listen, I'll call Howie if I convince him of that.
I mean, I got to tell you, I totally understand where you're coming from with that. But I really
For the
would.
record, I would do that.
Let me say this. All I'm saying, all I will point to is how impossible the Eagles' defensive line becomes if you have Jalen Carter and Myles Garrett standing next to each other.
Yeah.
End of story.
Yep.
You have no prayer.
Yeah.
You have no prayer. You have to decide.
Yeah. Right.
You have to make a decision. Who's it going to be?
Yeah. Because then on the other side, it's 2v1 if you double both of them.
You can absolutely not. You have to pick which one you are going to take your chance. Now there are some teams like the Cowboys have the type of guard who can stick with Jalen Carter for most of it. Jalen's still going to get his wins, but he can stick with Jalen Carter for a good bulk of, but then it's like, well, how we doubling Myles Garrett?
You're chipping him all the time with your running back or something, or putting a
And
tight
then,
end over there.
and then it's defense advantage because you're losing
Right.
one guy, within the play. So I get why, if Howie's really interested and wants to make this splash and have Myles Garrett for 3 years after this, I get it. He changes everything.
Yeah.
He changes everything. He and Jalen Carter change everything.
Well, he then makes the linebackers better, and he makes the secondary better, and all those things.
Exactly.
Because now instead of 7 seconds, they have 4.
Exactly. So look, if the answer to the question is 3 firsts, I don't know that I'm against it, because he might win you 2 more Super Bowls. And if that's the case, who cares? We're not picking 32nd. Who cares? I'm okay with it.
Howie will figure out a way to get a high 2nd round pick or something.
He'll take a couple of those 3rd rounders and move them around. And I'm not worried about Howie Roseman figuring out how to get the job done. Look, at the end of the day, they're going to add something here at the deadline. I think in order of my prediction, it's edge rusher, corner, then tight end.
Yeah, I agree.
I will tell you that if Myles Garrett is traded to Philly, we will be back.
My God, yes. That will be an emergency podcast.
We will be back.
Where I might be chugging out of a shoe.
God, that would be something.
Oh my God, can you just... The dude had 5 sacks and a loss the other day.
And he
5.
I think he realizes he made a huge mistake.
Yeah.
And I don't think he wants to be there anymore.
I don't think he does either.
I think he knows he made a huge mistake and he wants out.
I mean, he's happy for his money, of course. But...
Yeah. But I think he wants out, and I think that the Browns will want to do good by him, which means they're going to look for a place where he can go and win. And I don't think that place is going to be in the AFC. So, you're looking at a few teams at that point. And Andrew Berry and Howie Roseman have a good relationship. So I'm just saying.
I mean, when you could make an offensive lineman scream at their quarterback to run because you beat them so badly. Did you see that?
I did. And
Jesus.
that's with teams doubling him.
Right.
And chipping him. And now you got to worry about you've got to worry about him and Jalen Carter. And apparently now Jordan Davis and more Ujima saying. All right. Thanks for hanging with us, everybody. We'll be back some point this week. We'll figure it out and get back with all of you. Until
hopefully it's for a Myles Garrett.
Yeah, one
emergency podcast.
One thing at a time. But once something goes down, you'll know. But until then, go to YouTube and click subscribe wherever you get your podcast. Subscribe, rate, follow, do the whole thing. Head on over to social media at the Mic Drop 5, at Big Regz with a Z on Twitter, at the Phixated fan page on Facebook, at the Phixated Pod on Instagram, at the Phixated Podcast on Instagram, at the Phixated Pod on TikTok. Merchandise link in the show description. We'll be back. some point here between now and Tuesday or next Thursday. Until then, take care of yourselves. Take care of one another. Tell someone you love them. Howie, go get them.
God bless BJ Edgecombe.